In the United States, we know the names Musk, Bezos, Buffett. Elon Musk alone peaked at nearly $480 billion, the richest man in history. But in China? While no single billionaire has reached Musk's level, the country now has over 1,000 billionaires, which is more than the United States. The crazy part? China's richest didn't all come from tech. Some built fortunes in industries you'd never expect. Today, we're going through a list of the richest people in China. Trust me, you won't guess how some of them made their billions, especially the #1 richest person in China. We'll start with the youngest self-made billionaire in China at the age of 37 years old, Colin Huang. You might think you've never heard of him, but his shopping app is probably sitting on your phone right now. In 2015, he founded Pinduoduo, a shopping app that looks less like Amazon and more like a mix of Groupon and TikTok. Instead of buying alone, you convince friends, family, or even strangers online to join your group order. The bigger the group, the cheaper the deal. It sounds gimmicky, but in China, people loved it. Within just a few years, Pinduoduo exploded to over 700 million users and became one of the fastest-growing e-commerce platforms in history. By 2018, it went public on Nasdaq, making Huang a billionaire almost overnight. But he didn't stop there. In 2022, Pinduoduo quietly launched an app overseas called Temu. If you've seen those shop like a billionaire ads, that's him. In just months, it became one of the most downloaded apps in the US, challenging Amazon and eBay on their own turf. Colin Huang's fortune now sits at around $30 billion. He proved you don't need rockets to be a billionaire, just really cheap deals. But the next billionaire? He turned the farming of a single animal into an empire. It sounds unbelievable, but one of China's richest men built his fortune not from tech or real estate, but from pigs. His name? Yinglin, the undisputed pig king of China. Back in 1992, he and his wife started raising pigs because they figured, hey, people will always eat pork, and they are right. Pork is basically the national fuel of China. It makes up over 60% of all meat consumption. Fast forward 3 decades. Qin's company, Meituan Foods, now raises more than 10 million pigs a year. His empire is so massive that when pork prices spike in China, the government literally calls him up to stabilize the market. Imagine being so rich off pigs that your phone rings in Beijing every time bacon gets too expensive. In 2019, when African swine fever wiped out nearly half of China's pig herd, Meituan's more industrialized farms survived better than anyone else's. Pork prices tripled and Qin's net worth exploded. By 2020, he had added more than $20 billion in a single year, making him one of the fastest-growing billionaires on Earth. Today, Yinglin sits on a $42 billion fortune. Forget crypto, forget AI. The real gold mine in China isn't software, it's pork. The next one became a billionaire by feeding China's shopping addiction. In America, Jeff Bezos built Amazon. In China, the equivalent was Jack Ma. Except Jack didn't start as a Wall Street banker or a computer whiz. He was a school teacher who got rejected from 30 different jobs, including KFC. Armed with nothing but ambition, he launched Alibaba in 1999 from his apartment. With no money and little backing, he pitched small businesses until big investors finally bought in. 2 decades later, Alibaba's Singles Day made more in 24 hours than Amazon makes in a month. At his peak, Jack Ma's fortune hit over $60 billion, and he became the smiling, fast-talking face of China's new tech age. But in 2020, he criticized regulators, and almost overnight, his record-breaking IPO was canceled. Jack disappeared for months, and his fortune shrank by tens of billions. Today, he's still worth around $35 billion. But Jack Ma's story isn't just about getting rich. It's about how quickly wealth can vanish when Beijing decides you've said too much. Next is a guy who once couldn't afford a car, now owns Volvo and a big slice of Mercedes-Benz. Born the son of a farmer in Zhejiang, Li Shufu started out dismantling refrigerators and selling the scraps as knockoff motorcycles. In the 1990s, he leveled up and founded Geely, China's first privately owned automaker. a direct challenge to the state-owned giants. Geely began with cheap compacts for China's rising middle class. Sales exploded. The company went public in Hong Kong, and suddenly Li had enough cash to go car shopping abroad. In 2010, he shocked the world by paying $1.8 billion to buy Volvo from Ford. Everyone thought he was insane. A farmer's kid from Zhejiang running Sweden's crown jewel of safety? But Li poured money into R&D, left Volvo's engineers alone, and the brand thrived. From there, he doubled down, snapping up a nearly 10% stake in Mercedes-Benz. Li went shopping like most of us buy groceries, except his cart had 2 luxury automakers inside. Today, Geely sells over 2 million cars a year, from budget taxis to sleek EVs. Li's personal fortune? $37 billion. After cars came smartphones. The man behind them wasn't Tim Cook. It was China's own Steve Jobs. His name is Lei Jun. Instead of unveiling a $1,000 iPhone, he made the $300 version. He co-founded Xiaomi in 2010, selling smartphones that looked like Apple but cost 1/3 of the price. Within 5 years, Xiaomi became one of the top phone makers in the world, shipping over 300 million units. But Lei didn't stop at phones. Xiaomi expanded into TVs, laptops, scooters, rice cookers, air purifiers. Basically, if it runs on electricity, Xiaomi probably makes a cheaper version of it. Today, Lei Jun is worth $39 billion. He didn't reinvent the wheel. He just made it half the price and shipped it worldwide. The next billionaire? He made billions out of the appliances sitting quietly in your kitchen. Back in 1968, Xiangjian gathered 23 neighbors and started a tiny workshop making bottle caps. But he didn't stop there. He saw the appliance boom coming and expanded into fans, refrigerators, and air conditioners. That little workshop grew into Midea, one of the largest home appliance makers on Earth. Today, Midea has over 160,000 employees, operates in more than 200 countries, and pulls in $50+ billion a year. If you've ever stayed in a budget hotel or Airbnb, chances are you've used a Midea microwave or AC unit without even noticing. He's worth $32 billion. Not bad for a man who started with bottle caps and ended up running half the world's kitchens. The next billionaire? He turned phone batteries into buses, cars, and a $40 billion empire that even Tesla couldn't stop. Wang Chuanfu didn't start as a car guy. He was a chemist. In 1995, he founded BYD to make cheap rechargeable batteries for phones. But he had bigger plans. By the 2000s, BYD pivoted into automobiles. Instead of reinventing the wheel, Wang used his battery know-how to undercut rivals. His cars were cheaper to build, cheaper to buy, and still reliable. That strategy worked. BYD became China's go-to brand for taxis, buses, and eventually, electric cars. In 2008, Warren Buffett bought a 10% stake for $230 million. At the time, everyone thought Buffett had lost it, investing in a random Chinese car company. Today, that investment has grown more than 30 times. How did BYD blow up so fast? It made everything in-house, from batteries to chips. It put taxis, buses, and delivery vans on the road before anyone else. And while Tesla chased luxury, BYD went mass market, selling 3 million cars in 2023, basically a car for every person in Chicago, twice. Oh, and they still had enough batteries left to power Tesla, Toyota, and Hyundai. Wang's personal fortune now sits at $40 billion. The next billionaire built something you know a little too well, that endless scroll on TikTok. In 2012, Zhang Yiming founded ByteDance, starting with Toutiao, a news app powered by algorithms that learned exactly what you wanted to read. But the real breakthrough came in 2016 with TikTok. At first, it was just goofy lip-sync videos. Then it spread like wildfire. TikTok turned teenagers into celebrities overnight, launched songs to the top of the Billboard charts, and created a feed so addictive that people started calling it a digital drug. By 2023, TikTok had more than 1 billion monthly users worldwide, making it one of the most downloaded apps of all time. Governments from Washington to Delhi freaked out, tried banning it, and hauled executives into hearings. None of it slowed the app down. Zhang's fortune exploded to $45 billion. He didn't invent social media. He just perfected the infinite scroll, the digital slot machine that keeps people swiping at 3 a.m., and the jackpot is all his. If Qin Yinglin is the pig king, then Liu Yonghao is his heavyweight rival. Proof that in China, pork doesn't just make one billionaire, it makes two. Liu's story started back in the 1980s, not with pigs, but with chickens. He and his brothers sold quail and poultry in Sichuan. But soon, Liu realized the real gold mine wasn't feathers, it was pork. He founded New Hope Group, which grew into one of China's largest agribusiness empires, producing animal feed, dairy, and millions of pigs every year. His company now spans 30 countries and employs over 70,000 people. Today, Liu is worth $48 billion. Qin may wear the crown of Pig King, but Liu proved that in modern China, pork is big enough to mint billionaires twice over. Forget crypto or AI. In China, pigs are still the ultimate unicorns. But while some built empires from farms, others built them from code. Pony Ma isn't just another tech CEO. He built Tencent, the company that runs China's internet. Its crown jewel is WeChat, the everything app. Texting, paying rent, booking a taxi, ordering food, even filing for divorce, all in one place. With 1.3 billion users, WeChat is less an app and more a digital country. Tencent also dominates gaming. It owns Honor of Kings, the world's highest-grossing mobile game, and has stakes in Riot Games, Epic Games, and dozens more. Pony Ma's personal net worth is around $50 billion. He didn't just build an app, he built the operating system for daily life in China. If Ma reshaped how China connects, Wang Xing redefined how it gets things done. He is the man who turned laziness into a $65 billion empire. He founded Meituan, China's super app for services. Need dinner, a taxi, a hotel, movie tickets? Meituan does it all. It's like DoorDash, Yelp, Uber Eats, Expedia, and Groupon all mashed into one. The scale is insane. At one point, Meituan was handling 30 million orders a day. That's basically feeding the entire population of Canada every single day. And not just with food. Meituan delivers everything from groceries to massages to pet care. But Wang Xing didn't stop at convenience. He turned Meituan into a data machine, tracking what people eat, where they travel, and what they buy. That made it indispensable not just to customers, but to businesses who can't survive without it. In 2018, Meituan went public in Hong Kong. The IPO raised billions, and Wang's fortune shot up to $65 billion. He didn't invent delivery, he just made it addictive, daily, and unavoidable. But the #1 richest man in China didn't build an app at all. He sold something you probably have in your fridge right now. Of all the industries in China, the richest fortune came from the simplest one, bottled water. Zhong Shanshan, nicknamed the Lone Wolf, dropped out of school at 12. He worked as a bricklayer, a mushroom farmer, and even a journalist before finally striking gold in the most boring-sounding business imaginable, bottled water. In 1996, he founded Nongfu Spring. His gamble? In a country where tap water wasn't trusted, people would pay for clean bottles. He was right. Today, Nongfu Spring controls over 25% of China's bottled water market and sells billions of bottles every year. But Zhang didn't stop there. He built a pharmaceutical company, Wantai Biological, producing vaccines and health supplements. That side hustle turned into billions more when China's health industry exploded. By 2021, Zhang had leapfrogged tech giants like Jack Ma and Pony Ma to become China's richest man, with a fortune of around $70 billion. In a country of 1.4 billion people, Zhang figured out the ultimate cheat code. Everyone drinks water. He just sold plastic bottles and ended up richer than everyone.